here we are again with Ruth, and what we're going to do now is I'm just going to ask you a series of 10 questions, and I'm going to ask them to you really fast, and I really just want you to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind.
Gotcha. Okay, this one's easy for me. I would be able to speak and understand and read every language, like just like magically. So I could I could read Grimm Brothers in the original German, and then I could read all the French poetry in French, and then we just make traveling that'd be the best thing ever. More books would be accessible to me. Ice cream.
Okay.
Okay. Varieties of chocolate, salted caramel, peanut butter. I have a lot of opinions about ice cream. And if you had it on a cold island, then maybe hot chocolate. And this is assuming that all my nutrients are being taken care of by other means.
Yes, they are.
Good. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite fairy tale, but it's hard because I also love Cinderella and Charles Perrault's more obscure Cinderella version, which is a donkey skin, which it's a darker story. And I also love the princess, the Frog King by the Grimm Brothers, and Rapunzel, and I love Rose Red and Snow White. I love a lot of fairy tales. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. I like the the Norwegian version is East of the Sun and West of the Moon, and so it has that element of like, oh my goodness, like my husband turns out he's a monster, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? But then she has to like work to like break the enchantment and go on like this adventure. So there's like a quest, and so in different versions, like it's not about just how like, oh, the princess is beautiful and needs to be rescued over, but it's like the woman is the one who's having to do the work, and usually it's like, oh, she can do domestic things really well. Like she's in East of the Sun and West of the Moon, she's the only one who can wash the towel out of a shirt. So, proves herself as to be the true bride. But I know there's something about like the romance and like the adventure of those types of stories that I always really liked. And also just Disney's version of Beauty and the Beast, greatest wardrobe out of all of princesses.
Yes.
Madame d'Aulnoy. She was writing, we tend to celebrate Charles Perrault in terms of like the fairy tale genre, and Madame d'Aulnoy was writing in the same era, really inventing the literary fairy tale, like way before we had Hans Christian Andersen, before the Grimm Brothers, like in the 18th century in France. That's when fairy tales really started picking up, and she was a super fascinating character. She had a bunch of controversy in her life, where she was married at the age of like 15 to like a baron, like 30 years her senior, and she was apparently involved in a plot to try and get him like accused of treason, because then the punishment for treason would be execution. So she was like this kind of roundabout way to try and like kill off her husband. It didn't go very well. She got exiled for a while. She also helped one of her friends apparently, like allegedly, murder one of her friend's abusive husband. And there's like this frustration in her fairy tales around like the limitations of women and things like that. I think that she'd be really like fascinating to talk to, just because her life was super interesting and her fairy tales are just exquisite and extravagant, and I would love to know what's going on, like what's more is happening inside of her head. Hard work and chocolate.